Imagine this as the moment when the noise quiets, the excuses fade, and the truth steps forward. Because deep down, you already know that breaking away from alcohol isn't about waiting for the right time or hoping for some magical burst of motivation. It starts with one simple realization. You are the one in the driver's seat. And yes, that means the road ahead, every turn, every bump, every win, begins with your decisions. People often talk about quitting like it's some mysterious force that sweeps in when the stars align. But let's be honest. I'll do it later is still a choice. I can't handle this is also a choice. Even hesitating is a choice. Every direction you take, whether it pulls you toward progress or pulls you back into old habits, comes from you. Not from the bottle, not from fate, not from some external puppet master tugging on your strings. You can build excuses just as quickly as you can build reasons to push forward. And here's the funny thing. We somehow become master architects when it comes to excuses. But inspiration, momentum, drive, those are available too. They're not hiding behind a secret door. You can nudge yourself toward what energizes you. You can deliberately surround yourself with messages, people, activities, and environments that lift you up instead of weighing you down. That's within reach every single day. This whole journey, every hour, every craving, every win, every stumble, is shaped by the choices you make. Not by luck, not by genetics, not by destiny. Just you. And that thought leads directly to something a lot of people get tangled up in. So let's straighten it out with no sugarcoating. You are not broken. You are not diseased. You are not genetically doomed. That idea that alcohol happens to you, like the flu, it's inaccurate, disempowering, and, if we're being blunt, totally unnecessary to believe. What you're dealing with is a habit, a deeply learned behavior. Some people might naturally lean toward instant gratification, sure. But the overwhelming majority of the patterns that keep people drinking are learned, picked up from family, culture, friends, advertising, peer pressure, and plain old repetition. Look around today's world. Kids grow up getting nearly everything the moment they want it. Instant snacks, instant entertainment, instant attention. Then they hit adulthood, and suddenly the world doesn't clap every time they breathe. Reality hits hard, and many of them struggle. Not because something is wrong with them, but because no one taught them how to handle discomfort, challenge, or delayed gratification. It's the same with adults who fall into alcohol habits. Society didn't prepare anyone for this. It practically encourages it. Walk into any store and watch how cleverly everything is packaged to look classy, sophisticated, mature, deserved. If alcohol companies could bubble wrap your emotions and say, "Here, this will fix everything," they would. But all that's happening is learned behavior, repeated behavior, and eventually automatic behavior. So before you tell yourself you're genetically cursed or suffering from some irreversible inner flaw, take a breath. That belief is a brick wall you don't need. It's not scientifically settled, and even if it were, it wouldn't help you. The moment you decide you're powerless, you hand the keys to something that doesn't deserve them. Let scientists debate their theories. Meanwhile, the reality is this. You have far more influence over your behavior than you might think. Giving that up only feeds industries that profit from keeping people dependent, whether that's alcohol brands or pharmaceutical companies selling the next best cure. Your choices matter. Your decisions shape your path, and nothing is set in stone. That brings us to something people misunderstand all the time. Cravings. Cravings feel massive when they hit. They feel like they come from some deep, uncontrollable force. But here's the truth. Cravings are internal signals, not external commands. They're uncomfortable, sure. They can flutter around in your stomach, tighten your chest, make your thoughts spiral. But they're also incredibly temporary. Think about a thrill ride. The first time you're strapped into a seat and dragged up 50 feet, your stomach flips like it's auditioning for a dance show. The second time, you still feel it, but less. 10 rides later, your body barely reacts. The ride didn't change. Your mind learned how to process it. Cravings operate the same way. The feeling might hit suddenly, twist your emotions, and demand attention. But if you shift your focus, walk, breathe, move, distract, change the environment, they fade, usually within minutes. They are momentary waves, not permanent storms. And the more you experience them without giving in, the less intimidating they become. You stop reacting with fear and start responding with confidence. The ride stays the same, but you do not. While you're working through all that, here's something crucial to keep in mind. The discomfort you feel in the early days of quitting is nothing compared to the discomfort alcohol has brought into your life over the years. It's funny how the mind plays tricks. You'll feel a few nights of bad sleep, a bit of restlessness, some nerves, maybe some irritability, and suddenly it feels unbearable. But compare that temporary friction with years of dragging yourself through hangovers, fatigue, brain fog, guilt, poor decisions, physical strain, and emotional burnout. One discomfort gives you your life back. The other one slowly chips away at it. Short-term pain for long-term progress beats long-term pain for short-term relief. Every time. And once you get through the first few days, the intensity loosens. A few weeks later, your body adjusts. A bit after that, your mind catches up. And before long, you start choosing things that lift you rather than numb you. The past doesn't dictate anything unless you choose to repeat it. Another piece that matters more than people realize is understanding why you drink. Not the poetic reasons. I'm stressed, I'm bored, I deserve it. But the real mechanisms behind it. What feeling or expectation pulls you toward the drink? Is it the anticipation, the ritual, the social ease, the temporary escape? You're not analyzing this to dwell in the past. You're doing it because understanding your personal triggers is the only way to disarm them. Once you know why alcohol feels appealing, you can start shifting the mental patterns that keep that appeal alive. And that's where the real transformation begins. Changing the way you think about alcohol is everything. You can't break a habit while protecting the parts of it you still romanticize. You need to dismantle the entire structure, the glamour, the rituals, the associations, the expectations. Every time you catch your mind saying, "That drink looks great," you challenge it with the truth. It's a drug in a shiny container. The appeal is engineered. The image is fake. The reward is biological manipulation. Rejecting that conditioning, piece by piece, is how you break the habit, not just the action. And yes, it takes repetition. It takes awareness. It takes calling out your own thoughts and replacing them with clarity instead of illusion. But every time you refuse to feed the old pattern, the pattern weakens. This is the power you carry with you every single day. Once you start stripping away the illusions around alcohol, the next step is replacing it with something better. Because if you relied on alcohol for anything, confidence, social comfort, stress relief, easing tension, falling asleep. Then clearing it out of your life means you'll need new tools. And the good news is that life comes with far more tools than we usually give ourselves credit for. Think back to when you were a kid. If one thing didn't work, you tried something else. You didn't stick to a single strategy for fun, comfort, or connection. You experimented. You were flexible. You adapted without overthinking everything. Alcohol quietly removes that flexibility. It narrows your options until you're relying on one method for multiple needs. Anxious? Drink. Tired? Drink. Socializing? Drink. Bored? Drink. Before long, it's not just a habit. It becomes the default answer to everything. But that default is learned, which means it can be unlearned. Finding alternatives isn't about replacing alcohol with a new magic trick. It's about rediscovering your ability to handle life in more effective, more human ways. Social confidence can be built through practice. Relaxation can come from healthier routines. Stress relief can come from real solutions instead of temporary escapes. The more you explore new approaches, the more your world expands again. And here's the truth that many people overlook. The version of you that drinks to socialize isn't actually the confident you. It's a softened, simplified imitation. Alcohol doesn't give you social skills, it masks the absence of them. Real confidence grows slowly, but creates genuine strength. Alcohol offers a shortcut that eventually becomes a trap, and a clumsy one at that. At first, maybe one drink made conversation easier. Then it was 2. Then 3. Eventually, the thing you relied on to help you connect ends up making you less present, less articulate, and less genuinely yourself. It's like using blurry glasses because they look stylish. You don't see better, you just get used to the distortion. So finding alternatives isn't optional. It's essential. It pulls you out of the narrow tunnel alcohol created and puts you back in a world full of possibilities. Real ones. And that leads us to something just as important. Strengthening the behaviors that move you forward and weakening the ones that pull you back. Your brain runs on habits. Every time you repeat something, you reinforce a pathway. The more often you head down that path, the easier it becomes. Drinking follows this pattern. Cues, urges, rituals, behaviors. Everything from the time of day to a certain chair to a certain emotion can turn into a trigger. But here's the empowering part. New behaviors follow the same rules. Every time you choose the action that supports your future instead of the one that drags you backward, you reinforce a healthier pathway. You literally reshape your mind through repetition, not by hoping, not by wishing, by doing. Correcting drinking-related habits is a gradual process. It doesn't flip overnight, and it doesn't need to. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. When an old thought pops up, a drink would be nice right now. That thought means nothing by itself. Thoughts don't define you. If they did, the prison population would be a lot larger. You're not judged by what flickers through your mind. You're defined by what you choose to act on. Even years down the road, you might see something that triggers a flash of nostalgia. A glass, a smell, a memory. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. And conditioning can be undone. Every time you catch it and choose not to act on it, you weaken it. Eventually, the old pathways shrink from highways to side streets. They don't disappear entirely. Brains are stubborn. But they become quiet, outdated, irrelevant. While those new habits take shape, reward the behaviors that move you away from drinking. Reinforce the wins. not necessarily with big celebrations. Small, simple rewards work just as well. A walk you enjoy, a new hobby, a relaxing moment, a small treat. Even the feeling of accomplishment is a reward when you learn to recognize it. At the beginning, everything feels strange. Situations that once revolved around alcohol suddenly feel like new territory, and that's exactly what they are. New terrain takes time to explore. You're allowed to feel uncertain. You're allowed to feel awkward. You're allowed to learn as you go. But you must stay on your own side. Be patient but firm, encouraging but honest, supportive but disciplined. You don't grow stronger by tearing yourself down. You grow stronger by showing up consistently, even if it feels messy or uncomfortable. This entire process, every craving, every habit shift, every lengthening period without alcohol, is proof that you control your choices, not the other way around. Moment by moment, you're training your mind to respond differently, choose differently, and live differently. And that's what this entire journey comes down to. Free will, intentional choice, the realization that you are not a passenger in your own life. You're the one steering, and you've always had that power, even if alcohol fogged the windshield for a while. When you recognize that, you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. You stop seeing challenges as signs of failure and start seeing them as signs of growth. You stop believing you're trapped and start realizing you're taking control. Staying aware, correcting your course, rewarding progress, replacing old tools with better ones. This is the foundation of genuine change. Not dramatic moments, not lightning bolt inspiration, not waiting for a mythical perfect day, just choosing differently again and again. Before we wrap up, here's something worth keeping in mind. You're not chasing perfection. You're building momentum. You're creating a life where alcohol no longer holds any power because you've learned to outgrow it mentally, emotionally, and physically. You're rewiring the mechanisms that once kept you stuck. And that's something to be proud of. If you're finding value in this journey, or if you want more guidance, motivation, and clarity as you move forward, make sure you support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, or sharing your thoughts in the comments. It helps the Lost Library grow, and it helps this message reach the people who need it most. Keep choosing clarity over habit. Keep choosing strength over comfort. Keep choosing your future over your past. Onward you go, and upward you rise.